Tomm Fondle.
Welcome to Black Guy White Movie with your host, Maxwell Michael Towson.
Thank you for joining us on another week of the Black Guy White Movie podcast. I'm your host, Maxwell Michael Towson, and thanks for coming back for week 24, the Kobe week, of the nonsense. As always, you guys can hit us up on Instagram at Black Guy White Movie, Facebook at Black Guy White Movie, www.blackguywhitemovie.com, YouTube at Tomm Fondle, and then also, I'm missing something. I'm missing one of them, but whatever, fuck it. Let's just get right into it this week. Actually, for some of you people that have been hitting me up, talking about how to get rid of the Talenti obsession that I have, none of that shit has worked so far, so fuck all of you, because I'm still... Yeah, it's still happening. Like, I literally still eat Talenti almost every night, and it's not a good look. Like, I should be at about... I should be at about a good 208 right now, as much as I hit the gym and do the shit I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm at a quality 217, and I'm blaming it all on Talenti. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna blame all of this on fucking Talenti. But before we get into the news shit this week, I also wanted to shout out Margot Robbie because the trailer for I, Tonya came out, which is the movie about Tonya Harding. And Margot Robbie is out here crushing that shit. Like, I mean, I know a lot of times a trailer looks way better than anything the movie could ever be. But this shit looks legit. And her performance, well, again, it's just a trailer. But her performance so far looks legit. Everything looks great. I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know why I got maybe I'm getting sick because it's random as weather on the East Coast. I swear... Literally in New York, it was about 82 degrees one day, and the very next day it was 51 degrees. I wish I was joking, but no, I just feel like I was wearing just a t-shirt one day, and the next day I needed a hoodie and a bubble vest just because it's New York and some construction Timbs. Even though I didn't wear those two things, I just feel like I should have been wearing that. Nonetheless, shout out to Margot Robbie doing her thing in that trailer. If you haven't seen it quite yet, just go hop on YouTube. It's the I, Tonya trailer, again, about Tonya Harding. And if you don't know that background, it'll be a revelation to you because that is doing the Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan Olympic trial shit. You'll love it. You'll love this shit. It's quite amazing. For the news this week, so my man Tyrese Gibson, and I'm going to call him my man because I know a lot of people have some shit against Tyrese. He's a little extra on social media, yes. He's just extra, period. But he's going to be my man forever because Monica made this song. I want to say it was in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, whenever it was. But it's a song called Angel of Mine. So I'm going to call it the late 90s because Tyrese was looking like the Tyrese that was in that Martin episode where Tyrese just randomly comes in and suddenly Pam has a cousin that can sing, but she never mentioned this shit on the Biggie episode where Biggie came. It's television sometimes just doesn't remember what happened previously, so they don't even bring up some old shit. It's a lot. So, but either way, Tyrese in the Angel of Mine video, he was in it. And Angel of Mine is probably one of my top 5 favorite songs to ever be made in life. I don't give a fuck who makes fun of me. You can't even really push back on me about this, with your opinion of what a top 5 song should be. Fuck you. Angel of Mine is on my top 5. Between that and Mariah Carey, We Belong Together, I could literally play these songs over and over and over again all day and not even miss a beat. They are perfection to me. So because Tyrese was in this video, he's forever my guy. So when I see one of my guys out here threatening one of my other guys, who is The Rock, because Dwayne The Rock Johnson raised me. My mom is a wonderful goddamn human being, but she was grateful, nice enough to, as a kid, she always wanted to make sure, since I was the only child, She always wanted to make sure that I had friends come over and have fun because she didn't have that experience as a child herself. She didn't really have many friends come over and things of that nature. So she was always like, hey, have as many friends over as you want. Do whatever you want. Well, not do whatever you want, but anybody can always come over. She always had a welcoming home. She was always trying to take in strays like any kid that had some bullshit in their life or had any type of family problems at home, whatever the fuck. It was always her trying to champion anything with them just to make sure that they were all right and felt comfortable in their home. In that mindset, we always fucking had wrestling parties. She would get, I want to say if it was, let's say it's 12, at the time anyway, let's say it's a wrestling pay-per-view every month. I want to say she got about 6 to 7 of them. And I would have a wrestling party. My friends would come over. We would watch wrestling. We would wrestle in the basement after the thing. We would have sleepovers, like the whole nine. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Triple X, like the whole DX clan, all these motherfuckers raised me in some point to where, like, that whole attitude era of the WWE raised me. So The Rock is forever my guy. And for to see two of my guys just going at it on social media, mostly because of Tyrese, was a little saddening. So all week we've been hearing, well, for the last few weeks we've been hearing Tyrese has been upset because The Rock and Jason Statham are going to make a Fast and the Furious spinoff. When I first heard he was upset, I literally thought immediately somebody must be fucking with Tyrese's money because he's not going to be in the spinoff. And right away, Universal dropped like, hey, we're going to push back Fast and the Furious. So it started making sense to me. Like, Tyrese is like, hey, you fucking with my money. And it's reported that he actually reached out to The Rock and said, hey, like, can you not take this deal because that'll fuck with my money. I got a lot of shit coming up. He's been having personal issues, all types of stuff. He said, can you not take this deal? And I just got to say, my nigga Tyrese, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of guys that I think of as like brothers. It's not, I don't think any of them would, if that was really your friend, I don't think anybody would literally say, hey, can you take money out of your pocket just so I can make money? Like, it's not like you said, hey, friend, can you like let me hold a little something until that Fast and the Furious movie drops? You know I'm going to make blank amount. It's yours. You know what I make. Whatever the case, that's one thing. But to hit somebody up and say, hey, can you take money out of your pocket, stop your momentum, stop these things that people want you to do? Because it's not only that The Rock is doing this Fast and the Furious movie. That's cool or whatever. At the same time, you know that it's an exec at Universal that says, I need this movie done. And not to say that The Rock can't say no, but like sometimes you don't, it's certain people you don't want to say no to because you know it's going to be repercussions on the back end. It might not end your career. It might not even stop the momentum depending on what it is. But at the same time, The Rock wants to make sure that everybody is greasing the pockets the same. Everything is going well. And Tyrese is not going to be out here fucking up his money just because Tyrese's money is already fucked up. So it really disheartened me that Tyrese was doing all these Instagram posts and pretty much calling The Rock a candy ass, which was it's actually a good pull because The Rock has been calling people candy asses for years, even back to when he was actually The Rock days. So that was actually a good pull. And then Tyrese jumped off the cliff. He decided to say that if The Rock is in the next Fast and the Furious movie, Tyrese refuses to be in it. Now, my nigga, I have seen every Fast and the Furious film. You are good in them. I mean, you're good. You're comic relief. They give you things to do. They don't give you much of a storyline, which I'm sure you don't mind. But you can't think that if Universal really sat down and thought about it, they would give a fuck if you were in the Fast and the Furious movies. Honestly, I don't care what they tell you to your face. I don't care what they're saying, like what the fans might say to you, or, you know, a couple people might be like, oh, I wouldn't go see the movie if you weren't in it. they're fucking lying, or they are the rare exception to any of this shit. Because I promise you, I will be at that movie theater to see the goddamn Rock. If they say you're not in it, they could say fucking Ludacris isn't going to be in the next one. Fine ass Missandei from Game of Thrones, they can say she's not going to be in it. Michelle Rodriguez has already been kicked out of one. I didn't even know the difference. Let me tell you right now, the only people... I can't even say that because now Paul Walker has not been in one. It wasn't good. Like, the last one wasn't good, but I still went and saw it. The Vin Diesel one, he wasn't in. What was that? The second and the third one I went and saw. So, honestly, I'm going to let you guys know, like, everybody's replaceable but The Rock. I'm just going to be honest about it. Like, The Rock, the moment he entered the fifth one, I just feel like this series became important again. The moment he entered, like, the moment The Rock came in, it became something. And so you can't think Universal gives a fuck when it becomes against you and The Rock. Finally, you came to your senses. I'm happy you guys all squashed that shit. But my man Jody, it's been a weird week. It's been a weird 2 weeks. I don't know why you were out here. I was just concerned. I was really concerned. But I'm happy you finally came to your senses. I hope nobody puts that battery in your back again or whatever the fuck was going on. Because again, you've been having personal issues, which I don't want to talk about because that shit is not important to anything that's going on with the filmmaking business. But I'm saying, let's not bring these Rock beefs out to the world because I don't need this in my life. Let's just not do this.
Tomm Fondle.
When I was a kid, there were 2 Disney movies that everybody forever fucking talked about. One was Bambi, because Bambi's mom died at the beginning. So I didn't really give a fuck about Bambi. Let me just be honest about that. Like, Bambi isn't a good movie to me. I don't know why people like the movie. I don't know what it really tells you about life or what the fuck's going on in life. But I just don't fuck with Bambi. But the other one is The Lion King, which I love to death. I've always loved The Lion King. My only problem is that about a third of the movie was Hakuna Matata, and I just didn't get... Like, that's some lazy shit. Like, I Just Can't Wait to Be King popped off, and then Hakuna Matata was just like 20 minutes. He literally went from being a kid to an adult, and they were still singing Hakuna fucking Matata. Only beef I had with The Lion King. But everything else about The Lion King was dope. Scar was the shit. Zazu was the shit. The hyenas were out here crushing the game. Like, everything about The Lion King was great. So when this week, Queen Beyonce Knowles Carter decided to let the world know that she was going to be playing Nala in the live-action Lion King, the internet went a little crazy. And for some of you that aren't familiar with it, so The Lion King is going to have a live action version in the summer of 2019. So live action in the sense of, like, if you've seen the updated Jungle Book that they did, it'll be like that. So it'll be great computer animation of the, like, lions and the hyenas and all the animals and everything. Still no people in the movie, but live action in the sense that it'll be pretty much shot. It won't be animated. Everything will be CGI. It'll be shot out in the African Sahara somewhere. And they'll just have people doing motion animation to kind of get the idea of the CGI and everything when they go into the booth later to do everything. But Beyonce will be in it. She'll be voicing Nala. Of course, Donald Glover is going to be Simba. Well, the adult Simba, which is dope. James Earl Jones, who I hope they already got his vocals down for Mufasa. Mufasa. I don't know why I said Mustafa. Because James Earl Jones, I haven't seen him in a while, but I keep hearing that he's, I don't know. But I'm just saying, let's go ahead and get his vocals in first. If we got to get his vocals in first. My man Chewie's going to be in it. I always fuck with Chewie except for in 12 Years a Slave. I don't like you in that. It wasn't like it was you though, Chewie. Like, Chewie, you're always perfection. Like, no matter what you're in, talk to me. What was that other joint him and Denzel did? Inside Man. Like, Chewie, no matter what the fuck you're in, you're killing it. Just 12 Years a Slave wasn't it. But also Queen Alfre Woodard is going to be in it. Forever the Queen because of Crooklyn. My man John Oliver is going to play Zazu. Seth Rogen's in it. It's just like a really good cast. I think, is it Key or Peel? Key. Key is going to be one of the hyenas. So look, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a great thing. I think it's definitely dope that Disney is pretty much treating all of their old movies and animated movies and princesses and all that shit. They're treating them like a Jordan release. And if you think about that, Jordan has pretty much re-released shoes with poor materials and just said, hey, these shoes are back out. You're going to buy them for like exorbitant amount of money. Like maybe if Jordans came out at the time for $80, now they're $250 for that same shoe with a lesser quality everything. And people are still buying it. That's what Disney's doing. Disney, I mean, they're not giving us a lesser quality of things because they are updating the CGI. They're making it look new. But I remember it was a time where Disney used to surprise you like, hey, we're opening up the Disney vault, or we're going to drop a couple more DVDs of Mulan. Like now these niggas is like, nah, hey, we're going to update Mulan. We're going to make it live action. We're going to make a live action Aladdin. We're going to do Lion King. They're just really, let's just rehash this shit. Let's microwave it, put it back out, update a little bit of things here and there. Let's make sure we can go get Beyonce on this and Donald Glover. Like we don't want the kid from Home Improvement this time, you know? We don't want Jonathan Taylor Thomas. We want to make sure we get Donald Glover. We want to make sure we get certain people now that are popping out here so we can sell this movie and get all our money back. Because they know they're going to make money on this. Like the Jungle Book. The Jungle Book it's dope, but it's like that movie, the new movie was great, but I don't think that like the cartoon version was cool. It was alright. It wasn't nothing, you know, you was out here like, yo, I gotta watch the Jungle Book. Like, nah, it's not one of those. But that updated version of it was fucking amazing. Like I could watch that almost every night just to see Christopher Walken played the big ass orangutan. Like it's just a great movie. So shout out to Beyonce for joining the film, even though that had been rumored for months and months. But I guess she finally decided to, you know, she was like, hey, Blue Ivy has to be the only person to drop all of these exclusives, and it's going to be on her Instagram. So I guess they finally negotiated that shit out. And also, as always, shout out to Chewy, because Chewy, again, you're never wrong out here. Except for 12 Years a Slave, you're never wrong. And Donald Glover, you already know you're a god to me. I just can't wait to see this shit.
Tomm Fondle.
This week we're reviewing Thor Ragnarok, directed by Taika Waititi, written by Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, and Christopher Yost. Cinematography by Javier Aguirre Sarobi. Film edited by Zini Baker and Joel Negron. Production design by Dan Henna and Rob Vincent, and set direction by Beverly Dunn. This is also your spoiler alert, so if you haven't seen the movie quite yet, stop here and then come back after you check it out at your local theater. And also, you guys can always email us at blackguywhitemovie@gmail.com if you just want to go over everything, talk shit about the movie. I don't care what you want to do, I'll always respond back. And now, enjoy the review. All right, so Thor Ragnarok. Let's go ahead and get into this because I really want to watch Sunday Night Football, so we should go ahead and just hurry up and wrap this up. So Thor Ragnarok right now, let's see here. It's making a whole bunch of fucking money. It's, of course, going to be #1 at the box office in the U.S. and I believe worldwide as well. But in the U.S., it's only going against Bad Moms Christmas, so that type of counter programming isn't going to beat out fucking Thor Ragnarok. So we already knew the answer to all that shit. Right now, I think it currently at the box office, it's made $427 million worldwide off of a $180 million budget. So Marvel's out here killing it. This is their 17th straight #1 weekend. So again, Marvel is running this shit. So right now, Thor Ragnarok has a 73 out of 100 on Metacritic. See, I'm speeding too quickly. So it has a 73 out of 100 on Metacritic. It's an 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb. And then also on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 93% out of 100%. So right now, it's doing pretty well. Critics, fans, A cinema score. So everybody is fucking with Thor Ragnarok. And let's see. So before we get into the movie, I would like to have a moment for one of my boos, who's Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman has been playing Jane Foster in the two shitty Thor movies, because this Thor movie is great. I'll just say that off top. Like, this Thor movie is fucking great. The director knocked this shit out of the fucking park. It's really... I know we come to see these movies as action movies, but this is a comedy. This is Pineapple Express in a Marvel movie shell. I don't really know how to call it, but it's one of the funniest Marvel movies out. Maybe it's a toss-up between them and Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think says a lot about the Marvel, I guess, galactic universe. I don't know how we go about calling, but those two movies are pretty much in the cosmos. And they're the funniest ones. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, this Thor movie, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 2 have been some of the funniest films Marvel has put out. And no, well, intentionally funny. Because they also had, what the fuck is that? That Iron Man 2. Come on. The second Thor movie. Whew, pretty bad. But my boo Natalie Portman, she's had to stick through these two bad Thor movies. Her, Kat Dennings, they had to kind of stick through some bullshit with these two Thor movies. And I understand Natalie Portman has been pretty pissed off since the second Thor movie. They were going to go get one of the queens of the game right now, and Patty Jenkins, who of course was the director of Wonder Woman. And she was going to be the director of Thor 2. They brought her in. They paid her money. She started working on the script and everything for it. And her idea, it sounds a little far-fetched, but of course you always want to see you want to see how it comes out. But her idea of it was pretty much a Romeo and Juliet-esque Thor movie for the second Thor movie. Of course, Marvel wasn't down with that shit because they're like, hey, we just need a stock villain. We need Thor to fuck up some shit. Maybe go through kind of a hero's journey, but not really. And then some fighting happens at the end and we move on. And maybe you can throw in one of the Infinity Stones just so we can have a connective tissue to the rest of the Marvel Universe. For them, this shit is easy. It's bulletin points. You just check them off. You know, Patty was trying to do something a little different. They moved on. They went a different way. That's kind of normal. As we see, the Star Wars directors never last. Shit happens in Hollywood. Natalie Portman wasn't down with that shit. Natalie Portman pretty much got relegated at that point to just a girlfriend. In the first Thor, she was just a girlfriend. She was a smart girlfriend, but just a girlfriend. The second Thor, she got relegated back to being a fake MacGuffin and just a girlfriend. And then from there, as they treat all the girlfriends in the Marvel Universe, they just become talk pieces just to kind of humanize the heroes in some way. Pepper Potts, I mean, she randomly showed up in Spider-Man. She randomly showed up in Spider-Man Homecoming for Pepper Potts. So Gwyneth Paltrow finally came back after years and years of just being missing since Iron Man 3. But apparently Natalie Portman is just not coming back. Like, even in this movie, so the last time we saw Natalie Portman was in the second Thor film. Since then, it has been, I want to say, about 6 or 7 films. She was mentioned in the Avengers film as being off somewhere. Nobody really, never really brought up again. It was just like, oh, you know, she's off somewhere. Like Thor and Tony Stark had this, like, who has the bigger dick contest of, like, my girlfriend's better than your shit. That was it. In this movie, which, again, the first 2 movies were literally, she was the second lead of these films. Maybe I wonder if Anthony Hopkins was actually the second lead. Probably not. Anthony Hopkins probably got that and Anthony Hopkins or with Anthony Hopkins in the credits. And for those of you that don't know this, right? So, like, when you do the credits, it's like you can get first billing, second billing, third billing. But sometimes, like, if you're an actor that has a certain prestige and you're not really going to be in the movie too much, you always want to get that and Anthony Hopkins. Like, that's like something special toward the end, or with Anthony Hopkins, because you're fucking Anthony Hopkins. I want something to notify that I'm better than these other motherfuckers. I don't care if it is a Hemsworth that's leading this film. You need to put that Anthony Hopkins was in this motherfucker just so, you know, people feel a little bit better about this. I honestly want to look up It's not important, but I kind of want to look up what they did with Spider-Man Homecoming. Like, was it and Robert Downey Jr. or was it Tom Holland, Robert Downey Jr.? Like, how did they do that? Because that's a good case study of how you treat that shit. Because Robert Downey Jr. probably had 4 days on set and still made about $20 million just to pop up for that shit. But let me not get sidetracked. Natalie Portman was probably second lead in these movies, and then she has just completely disappeared, not to be seen or heard of again. She gets one little drop in the film like, oh, so sad that Jane broke up with you. Thor makes a joke of it like, no, I broke up with her. It was mutual. And that's just the end of this shit. So the case of Natalie Portman is a sad one. Like, it's good to see her when we see her. I mean, nowadays she's starting to do those super independent films because I guess Marvel hurt her. But Natalie, like, come back. Try to get back in this universe. It has to be more women in this universe. It can't just be Black Widow who randomly gets paired off with every guy and she has to flirt with every guy in every fucking movie that she gets paired off with. Even though now they're trying to cement this her and Bruce Banner shit. But whatever works for you guys. We barely get my girl from How I Met Your Mother because she just randomly pops in here and there. Like, let's get the female blood back in this. Let's get this back going. Let's get these women. I mean, because like Captain Marvel can't just be the female embodiment of everything like they do with Wonder Woman in the DC universe. Like, it's more than just 3 women in the world. Like, I mean, even Star Wars. Like, Star Wars literally had to start adding in women as main characters because Princess Leia was the only woman in the universe for the longest. Unless you were the leader, you were Princess Leia, you were the leader of the rebellion. You were Luke Skywalker's aunt that died immediately. No other woman. I mean, it was just... I'm not sure if those fur creatures and Jedi were any of those women. Yeah, no. I can't think of... Let's just get more female representation is all I'm asking for. Now let's get into Thor. So Thor... Again, it's one of the funniest movies we've seen in the Marvel Universe. It sets the tone immediately of what the movie's going to be. Thor is held captive in the beginning of the film. I mean, by his own doing, like he just wants to be held captive. And he's been searching for Infinity Stones, but hasn't found any. And right now he's being imprisoned by the demon Surfer. What was this guy named? Sotor? Anyway, it was some fire demon whose whole thing was that he was meant to destroy Asgard. Thor said that he was having dreams about it. Like, hey, I've been having these dreams about you standing over a big mountain and you're destroying Asgard. There's a whole very funny scene, a funny back and forth. Chris Hemsworth can actually do comedy very well. I mean, we saw that in Ghostbusters, though. So I think him being in Ghostbusters kind of helped. I don't want to say it helped Marvel believe that he could do that, but he was hitting every comedic note very well. And then, of course, the guy that plays Loki is fucking amazing at anything he does, so he was doing his thing. But the basic premise of that, like this scene, was mostly to set up that this demon character has like this crown that he wears, and that crown, if it's put in the eternal flame in Asgard, which is held in Odin's vault. Like, if it's put in there, then the demon will recreate and become this huge demon that can destroy Asgard. So Thor destroys the demon, takes his crown, and that's supposed to be that. He just heads back to Asgard because he's done his thing. He's taken out everybody. He's killing it. And when he gets back, suddenly Asgard's a little different. Like, there's really nobody out there controlling the 9 realms, making sure people are safe. And when he gets back, he just finds Odin eating grapes, hanging out. He's watching so they do this like Broadway play type shit where you see Loki's death from the second Thor, but it's being acted out as this dramatic and wonderful scene, all praising how great Loki was. And randomly, Matt Damon is in this scene playing Loki, which is fucking hilarious that Matt Damon is just randomly in the scene. And then Thor, of course, comes back and he sees that it's not actually Odin that's putting on these plays, but instead it's Loki pretending to be Odin, disguised as Odin. He makes him reveal himself, and that pretty much gets the movie going, where Thor wants to find out where Odin is, and he brings Loki along. They come to Earth. My man Doctor Strange pops out, which I gotta say, Marvel wasn't fucking around with this movie. They put everything into this movie possible just to make sure that this third Thor movie wasn't going to be a dud. Doctor Strange is in it. The Hulk is in it. Jeff Goldblum is in it. They went and got the goddess herself, Tessa Thompson. Like they just kept putting in things that you were like, you know what, I want to be here. I want to be here for this. You know what? The thing, this goes back to, they deleted another woman in Lady Sif, because she's like with the Warriors 3. Like, where the fuck was she at? She wasn't in this movie. Like, Marvel, we might have to have a sit down and wonder why you guys aren't keeping the ladies in the movies. Like, this would have been a good movie for her to be in. Like, Kate Blanchett was out here. When I get to her, like, she was fucking greatness. But yeah, I'm not sure why Lady Sif wasn't in this movie. Anyway, so finally we get to Odin. Odin pretty much is saying like, hey, look, I'm dying. But when I die, my daughter's going to come back because I've imprisoned her. It's Hela, the goddess of death. Kate's coming back. And when she comes back, she is going to fuck shit up. Because she has this bloodlust. She wants to make sure that she's taking over all things. So the background of that is that Odin has pretty much wiped away a certain history of how he became ruler of these 9 realms. When it was just one realm, as in Asgard, him and Hela went out and just took over everything and became the rulers of the 9 realms. And her ship was like, why are we stopping here? Let's take every fucking universe, realm, everything possible. And Odin said, you know what? Nah, let's just chill. I want to relax now. You know, I want to have more kids. He had Thor with his wife. And Hela said, nah, fuck that. So she started a little mutiny. And Odin decided to imprison her, I guess, into perpetuity. Because I'm wondering, like, how long was he just going to keep her there? But by him dying was going to open up her prison. So Odin dies and immediately she gets out and she just fucks shit up. Like, she fucks Thor up, fucks Loki up. She kind of, as they go through, they call this little way they transport from, let's say, any of the 9 realms to Asgard, the Bifrost. So the Bifrost is coming down to get Loki and Thor, and she just jumps in it, fucks them up, pushes them out of it. So she makes it back to Asgard to take shit over. She was really, I'm going to say this about Kate Blanchett. She's perfection. Okay? I'm not sure she's Charlize's level of perfection, because Charlize is just, I don't know. I can't even say better. It's not even words for how great Charlize is. But Kate was crushing it in this. And I gotta say, like, as a villain, she was a stock Marvel villain. But since it was a female, it made it better. I can't really call it why it made it better. Or maybe her acting, because she's a great actress, made it better. But she did literally just stock Marvel villain shit. Like, just talked about her plans all the time and told us how she was wronged and how she just wanted to take over. It wasn't, let me put it like this. If it was a guy doing this, I don't think we would have gave a fuck about this villain. But since it's Kate and that it's a woman doing it, and it's not really, is that progress? I guess I'm asking. Like, is it progress that we watch a movie where they don't even try to kind of give the villain much? I mean, she's just coming back for revenge, what she thinks is rightfully hers. And it's the same shit, but it just seems better. I don't know what to call it. Maybe it was the comedy aspects to it, or, again, maybe it was just Kate. and then everybody else is acting just as on point. But I don't know. It was a bit much. It was craziness. But either way, so Thor got sent off to this new world since he got kicked out of the Bifrost. This new world called Sakaar is where he crash lands. And on Sakaar, they're doing these gladiator type fights. So he meets Jeff Goldblum, who's known as the Grandmaster, who seems like, okay, so in Marvel mythology, let's say, he's one of the old gods, like one of the original gods that started the universe or was here when the universe was born. And in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it just seems like what they're doing with these old gods is that, okay, for example, in the second Guardians of the Galaxy film, why am I blanking on his name right now? But anyway, they had an old god in that as well, but he only drew his power from his planet. So if he was on his planet, he was invincible, he would live forever, he would look the same age, so on and so forth. But when he left his planet, he wasn't quite that guy. Kurt Russell, that's who it was. It was fucking Kurt Russell. But if he left the planet, then he was not human, but he was mortal. And it seems the same thing with Jeff Goldblum as well. Like on that planet, he's going to live forever. He can rule things, can kind of control the way things work. But if he ever left that planet, then that wasn't the case. So because of that, like he's just this complete asshole that just went around having orgies all the time and putting on these gladiator matches, which he makes Thor get in one because he tells Thor, like, listen, if you can beat my champion, I'll allow you to leave, no questions asked, right? So Thor, of course, being a hothead that he's always been, it's like, yeah, let me beat your champion. Which, again, technically in the journey of Thor doesn't make sense because this is our third Thor movie now. And each time it's like, Thor, you need to learn patience. Thor, you need to learn how to be a better leader. Thor, you need to learn this. Thor, you need to learn that. At the end of every movie, they tell us he's learned these things. At the end of the Avengers movie, they show like Thor learning how to have some type of need to have responsibility and to take the onus for things. And I'm going to go out and find these Infinity Stones because there's a bigger story out here. It's not just about me. Yet every time it comes back to fucking Thor just wanting to fight somebody and it being about him. It's just like, it's sometimes as if the MCU forgets what they did previously, but we're going to let that go. So in all of this, in the gladiator shit, he ends up fighting the Hulk. And Thor and the Hulk have their, one-on-one fight, which is pretty dope. And it also helps that Thor starts learning that he has abilities outside of just like swinging his hammer, because his hammer gets destroyed by Kate. And so then he's learning that he can control his abilities without actually having the hammer around, which is definitely a dope thing to go through. But again, it's also saying that Thor hasn't learned shit because why couldn't he learn that on his own? Why did he have to... Whatever the fuck. But in all of this, like the shit on Sakaar was funny because Jeff Goldblum is funny. And then just the writing overall was great. But actually these scenes just didn't... The Sakaar shit was dope, but at the same time, it didn't really push along anything. It was almost like... It's like if this was a TV show, this is one of those like skippable episodes. Like, yeah, it's fun seeing the Hulk. It's fun that the Hulk is like talking now because in other movies he doesn't talk because usually he just flips back to Bruce Banner. But in this movie, this is the first time he's just been the Hulk for about 2-3 years. So, he has a personality. He's himself. He's learning things like any 2 or 3-year-old would be. Tessa Thompson is fun to see doing her thing. At the same time, I don't know. Like, Thor didn't really learn shit by going to this planet. It's literally it's like a bottle episode in a TV series. It's what The Walking Dead does when they've ran out of shit to do. So they literally show a different point of view of the same episode. Like that's, again, it's a great movie and it was great in that moment, but it was just like, what did that part really do for anything? Like, in moments, it did help Thor's relationship with Loki, but we've done this back and forth before. Like, how many times are we gonna We've been here. I mean, in the end, Loki did seem to come around, but it's the same shit every time. Like, it's not... We're never gonna end this shit. And... But either way, they end up fighting Kate. Thor kind of learns... Well, he doesn't even learn it. Anthony Hopkins just tells him. It's not even something he comes up with himself. So, again, that's kind of like fucking up his character development. But Anthony Hopkins just kind of tells him, like, hey... Like, Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. Which is pretty much saying, like, look, if you destroy this planet, that's fine, but our people can survive anywhere. And so so Thor's idea is like, look, I can't really stop the goddess of death. If she wants Asgard, like, she can only draw, like, she's only a god on Asgard. Like, again, like, these other old gods seem to only be great on their actual planet. So his thing is like, look, she's only a god on Asgard. She can only be great on Asgard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this fire demon fulfill his prophecy, fulfill his destiny, and destroy Asgard and also destroy her. So that's what he does. He gets the remaining people of Asgard off the planet. They get on a spaceship and they make their way to Earth because everybody has to be on Earth for this Infinity Gauntlet shit, this Infinity War shit. The next Avengers movie that's coming up, everybody just has to be on Earth. That's just what it's going to be. I pretty much think they're just going to kill everybody on Earth and then redo some shit or restart the universe just so we can have like a black Iron Man and Captain America can be a female, like whatever they're going to do just to kind of update it and make it great again. Well, not great again, but just to update it. Cause you know, Chris Pine doesn't want, not Chris Pine, but, damn, all the Chris's are the fucking same. But Chris Pratt doesn't want to do this shit forever. Robert Downey Jr. is about to be 60. Like, no, they're over that shit. Like, nobody's, let's just stop. But like Thor overall, like, again, it was a dope ass movie. It was very funny, great scenes. There was this one character called Korg that was probably the funniest motherfucker ever. Like, it was this, I forgot the name of his people, but he was just made out of pure rock, like a big dude made out of, it was like if you had the Thing from the Fantastic Four, but he's blue. And you're thinking you're going to get some rough and gruff sounding voice, deep. No, he sounds like a little kid, just like this high-pitched voice, still fucking people up, so it was great, but it was just interesting to like kind of have that juxtaposition of this huge guy that was really the softest motherfucker ever, but could still fuck people up. Then also shout out to Idris. They actually gave him a little bit to do in this movie. Not much, but they gave him something to do, because normally he's just there hanging out, just looking like, you know, the cool black British motherfucker that he is. But in this one, they let him fight a little bit. They let him actually protect the people. So it was a little different for Idris. I guess, you know, when you don't bring back Natalie Portman, you can finally give Idris something to do. But whatever's on that. But I think, like, for Thor, it's really not... If you've seen one Marvel movie or one Thor movie, you've pretty much seen the basic concept of everything. Of course, if you're a fan of this Marvel universe and you want to catch up on everything and know every through line and every thread, yeah. But at the same time, like this, I'm happy that it's getting great ratings and reviews because it does deserve it. Like, it's a great movie, but it's not changing the Marvel formula at all. Like, not in any sense. Like, it's still a stock villain. Thor still doesn't really learn shit that they won't be able to wipe away later if they want to do something else with the character. You're still pushing the same buttons, doing the same shit. So, again, shout out to Marvel for hitting a home run again. This is definitely one of those movies that people will see over and over again. I might go see it again, actually, because I feel like I missed a few things. Not that I missed a few things in the movie, because again, it's just like straight through, but I feel like I might have missed a few jokes. And also, who doesn't want to see Tessa Thompson again? But now let's rate the movie. So how we rate movies on this podcast is that either you will go see the movie in theaters, which is the top rating. You'll wait for the movie to come out on Netflix. So that's probably like a month or 2 months after the movie leaves theaters. Or you could wait for the movie to come on TNT. So that's full on commercials. It's probably a year to two after the movie came out. So that's just some shit that's on TV one Saturday night and you just watch it. Or you don't see the movie at all. So for Thor Ragnarok, it's definitely going to be go see this shit in theaters. Go see it immediately. Go check it out. Bring friends, bring family. It's one of those movies that you don't necessarily... It helps to have seen the other Marvel movies, but it's not something where you have to. Like, they definitely did well to bottle this to be a standalone movie. If you wanted it to be. Like, you could definitely just go in, see it clean, enjoy the jokes and everything of it, and have fun. Dope-ass movie. But yeah, I just honestly wish they would just push. Like, I felt like that first Guardians movie kind of pushed things into a new light, and this adds on to it, but it didn't change anything. So I just wish a little bit more from the movie. Still great, still wonderful. I will still see it multiple times and check it out anytime it's on TV or Netflix or whatever the fuck. I will be seeing this movie. So it looks like I'm getting into my Sunday night football time, so I'm wrapping this up now. So you can always hit us up on Instagram at Black Guy White Movie, Gmail, blackguywhitemovie@gmail.com, Facebook at Black Guy White Movie, YouTube at Tomm Fondle. As always, RIP Alex, and we will see you guys next week.
Tomm Fondle.